Hi, Tim Conti here again with Cloud Collaboration Consultants. So hopefully at this stage we first provided, hopefully at this stage you see some value. First we provided you with the free comparison report of the top unified communication providers, 32 providers, 27 key evaluation criteria. It's a great place to start your digital transformation journey, and hopefully it armed you and got you ready for researching these providers. And then hopefully then from there you took us up on our $97 1-hour consultation call. We wish we could actually do that at no charge, but our calendars would fill up pretty quickly. But hopefully then there we did the research for you. We used the opportunity criteria, and based on your specific requirements, we narrowed down the list of providers and provided you with a custom research report. But for some of our clients, IT consultants or IT leaders or business leaders, they're looking for a little bit more. And this program, the next program, is not for everybody, but hopefully it provides some value based on where you are in your current unified communications journey. As I mentioned, I've been in the market for 15 years. I've worked directly for these providers you're evaluating. And at CDW Corporation, I did hundreds of implementations from on-premise to cloud unified communications. We help customers evaluate RingCentral 8x8, Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom, to name a few. And we wouldn't just provide research, we would help them evaluate, implement, and adopt the technology. That's the key. So the first part's the research, then there's the implementation, and then there's the adoption of the technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and I am going to just run you through a quick presentation that kind of takes you through what the program entails, so you have an idea as to whether or not there is value. We call it the do it for you research. And essentially what it is we've done a lot of the heavy lifting already, but next comes, the real work, which is evaluating, then looking at and researching the vendors, analyzing the vendors, seeing who's the best fit, running through proof of concepts and whatnot. So with that being said, I'm actually going to run through it right now. So, first and foremost, I covered my bio, so we're good there. We covered the research phase. So you got two options, right? You can do it alone. You can take what we've given you, go out, contact the providers directly, find the one that's the best fit, go through the contracts, everything. There's a lot of work involved, and there's a lot of pitfalls that your peers have fallen into and that we've seen based on our 15 years of direct experience. But I've got another option for you. That's option 2, and that's to use us and utilize our expertise. We will help you through the entire journey. And let me show you what that looks like. So we call this UC Research Evaluation and Adoption Done For You. And we've done the 60-minute video consultation, but we'll do it again. And that's a framework to officially kick off this project for you, to look at the providers and to understand from your perspective what is critical and important to you. What do you hope to get? What does success look like? What is the end goal? And when we understand that, that makes this project much smoother. So we'll continue with our 60-minute evaluation call. We'll re-look at the research again and kind of recap what we know about your environment that we learned from the previous engagement. But then the key part here is this unbiased vendor selection. One thing we noticed is that when we would run a project for customers, one of the challenges was there'd be different areas where we would store your information about your account, and the vendors would have to come in every single time and reintroduce themselves, and they ask you, series of questions about your environment, very basic information. And that's just very time consuming, and it's not terribly efficient. And then they also ask you questions about what keeps you up at night. Vendors asking that question, or me thinking they might ask that question, keeps me up at night. So they don't do that on our calls. But what we do is we've got a tool that we use. It's a link that we provide you. We either fill it out on the phone together, or we send you the link, you fill it out. It's about 7 to 10 minutes, and it's almost like it's, for lack of a better word, it's like a site survey. It's an information gathering repository of your information in a secure portal. And then once you go through this, either with us or on your own, preferably with us, we'll fill it out together. We hit submit. And then it goes to my team of world-class engineers. And those engineers then will analyze your specific requirements, the deep dive of what you're currently doing today, what you're doing for collaboration, what are you doing for video, what phone system are you on today, contact center. And it takes all that information, and based on that, it's going to shortlist for us the vendors that are the best fit for you. Okay? It's a huge time-saving effort in doing this. And also too, when you jump on these first calls, when you finally meet the vendors we recommend, they're already way ahead of the game. They understand your environment. They understand you. We don't have to start over with these providers. They're all given the baseline. They understand their environment. They know we chose them for a reason, and they're really excited to then work with us because they know their solution's a good potential fit. And then the question is, who's the best out of the bunch? And we help with that. When we do our product demos, what drove me crazy in sitting through hundreds of these are one, they were standard demos. They didn't take the customer's current environment in mind. They would show you the video, show you the phone. There wasn't a ton of value in these demos. They were very canned, and they missed the mark. And quite frankly, it's a waste of everyone's time. My time, your time, the vendor's time, everybody's time. So what we do is we make sure that we demo the things that are relevant to your situation, things that you care about. If you care about analytics, we spend more time on analytics. If you care about Salesforce integration, we spend more time on Salesforce integration or whatever it might be. So that's what's different about doing a demo. And in the other side of the fence, you're just going to get pulled down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down. Pricing negotiation. Now, the goal here isn't to be the cheap VoIP provider or find you a cheap VoIP provider. If you want me to do that, just let me know day one, because I can actually do that for you very quickly. I don't recommend it. The goal is value, finding the best value, the best provider first. Who's the best provider for you? Don't worry about the price. The price will be there. We see hundreds of price points from every vendor. I can tell you what the average seat price is that our people are paying, what your industry peers are paying. I have all of that at my fingertips. A lot of it's confidential, so I can't actually send it to you, but I can do it via a call like this where I share some real world examples of some contracts that were recently signed, and we can go there. But part of this will be we will work with the providers to ethically pit them against each other, and again, in an ethical manner to get you the best deal, the best price. Contract terms and conditions. So on this, when we get to this stage of the process, your legal team might be busy. Maybe although this project is very important to you, the IT team, maybe it's not as important to your legal team. But we've hired a $500 per hour lawyer that actually has created language that we insert into the agreement that protects you. So you don't have to, and then your lawyer is going to love you when you share this. This is stuff we know we can get approved. And also, too, there's a couple of clauses that we like to remove. There's a couple of clauses like auto renews that we like to tweak. We like to extend the onboard out clause as well in the beginning. Chances are if something's going to go wrong, it's going to be in the first 30 to 60 days. 30 days, in my experience, isn't quite enough. It usually needs to be 60, but all the vendors want to offer 30 for a reason, right? So we help you with that. Then from there, after contract terms and negotiation, no charge proof of concept. Now, this is optional. You don't need to do it, but I do recommend if there's some integrations you want to prove out or there's some things in your environment, we can do a proof of concept that's either free, paid for by the vendor, or there's also paid proof of concepts, but it's usually pretty minimal. Here's what the proof of concept isn't. It isn't the provider shipping you some phones, you plug it in, you call your buddy, or you call your significant other, your spouse. It's not what this is. Anyone could do that. I could ship you a phone right now that you could do that. There's no real value there. Where there is value, though, is testing out certain things that maybe you're concerned about in the environment. Maybe you're a very heavy, deep on-prem PBX environment today, tied to contact center and a bunch of other stuff. So there might be some things that we want to prove out in a POC. My experience is at this stage, we should know what vendor that we really like for you and vice versa. So when they know that and you know that and everyone's on the same page, these get much easier to get approved. Okay. So that's the proof of concept. Total cost of ownership, ROI. This is big. We have a tool that we've built that anyone can do a back of the napkin ROI. Like, what do you pay for trunking? What do you pay for your maintenance? What do you pay for licensing? All of that. Compare that to a cloud solution that's subscription monthly per user based. Pretty easy to do back of the napkin. But a lot of clients need for their CFO to get this project blessed a full-blown total cost of ownership, which is a bit different. And I've got a YouTube channel where you can watch the video of the total cost of ownership tool, but it's pretty in depth and it provides nice charts and it's very tailored to you. If you'd like to schedule a call, even this call that at the end of this, where I ask you to set up a consultation call, and I actually would be willing to run through the total cost of ownership tool with you as well. All right, so as we're moving right along here in the process, as you can see, there's a lot of steps to effectively evaluate, implement, and adopt this technology. It's not like signing a contract, you just walk away. If you're a 3-person florist shop, maybe, but for anyone above 50, 60 phones, there's more work that's involved. Professional installation, this one is huge. The misconception in the market is that this technology is plug and play. It is. If plug and play means the vendor ships you a phone, you plug it into your LAN and you get dial tone, yes, plug and play. But that's not an implementation. That is just very, very level 1 type stuff that's required. But porting numbers, integrating with analog devices where need be, overhead page systems, integration with CRM, you name it. You absolutely either want to have someone on your staff that can do the installation or you want to hire it out. And I've got a really strategic way to get this included as part of the contract, either at no cost or very little cost. When we priced this out recently for a global deployment on site to 10 countries, 500 users, it was $125,000 in professional services for the vendor to do it on site. We got that down to $15,000. So, and in some cases we can include this for free. So more on that later, but you absolutely want to subscribe to some professional services. Installation and adoption, all these productivity benefits that everyone says you're going to get by moving to the cloud only works if people use the system and they use it the right way. We've got some white papers and some things that we've developed that are very specific to helping with not only training but adoption. The challenge with some of the training is it's quick one time and then they move on and everybody forgets. We've got some customized training available. We also have white papers, as I mentioned, that really help with the adoption. The more your users start to use the technology and adopt it, then they're going to get those productivity benefits that everyone keeps talking about. So, here's what you get: the video consultation, the research, the unbiased vendor selection, the customized product demonstration, proposal and pricing negotiation, no charge proof of concept, contract terms and conditions, professional installation, professional training and adoption, and then lastly, project management and escalation. We will include a project coordinator as part of this that sits on these weekly calls. We sit on your side of the table, so when the vendor says this, we're the ones whispering in your ear what it really means. And we've done so many of these that we've gotten really, really good at cutting through the noise. And if for whatever reason we hit a bump in the road, which is technology, that's bound to happen, we have an escalation path right to the top with all these top vendors: Zoom, RingCentral, 8x8, you name it. We know who the escalation lists are, who to contact at what stage, and what levers to push and pull when need be. I've also got 4 bonus guides for you that we'll include in the very beginning. One is the UCaaS traps. These are things that your peers have run into and things that maybe didn't anticipate going forward. Things like porting of the numbers and verifying your numbers can be ported before signing a contract, overhead page systems, analog stuff. All that's in the bonus report. Bonus 2 is the contract language tips and tricks. We go a bit deeper than the language I talked about before, and we outline those clauses for you. We covered that a little bit earlier. Bonus 3 is the adoption that I mentioned. The adoption is critical. This is to ensure that your end users, the customers, your internal users you support are adopting and leveraging and using the technology so it's most efficient for them. And then bonus 4 is a good one. Every quarter, these vendors roll out new customer promotions, and they're all over the place. Free phones, 30% off, 40% off licenses, free install, 3 months of service, you name it. And we have all of the promotions every quarter for every vendor. And we provide them to you, and it gives us a baseline for what's possible in terms of negotiation. Even if the vendor we feel as though and we agree and you agree is the best fit for you, then even if their promotion is not the best, we'll use another vendor's promotion in order to leverage and get the provider to match it. You'd be surprised at how often they're willing to do that when you put a little pressure, or probably a little pressure. So here's my guarantee. If after running through this process, you don't feel that we've saved you time, provided the best value, the absolute best experience, versus either doing it yourself, or working with the vendors directly, I will pay you. Actually, no, I will donate. Even better, I would donate to your favorite charity $500, or if you don't have one, you can donate it to mine. So we just thought that would be a nice way to give back instead. I don't expect to write too many checks for the donation, but I'm happy to do it if for whatever reason you didn't get a tremendous amount of value with what we're offering. So that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to the video. I will kind of leave you with a quick story. When we ran this project for a CIO IT leader in Chicago, he was coming in for a half-day session, what we call a half-day workshop, unified communications workshop, where we bring in the vendors and we bring in lunch, and then we finish up with a nice game at Wrigley Field to wind down and celebrate our being the end of the project. But what we did is when we brought these vendors in, and because we were so dialed in with the requirements and the demos, the CIO felt as though it was the best use of his 4 hours to jump on a plane and come to Chicago. All this now is, of course, done virtually with COVID, and it works very well virtually. At some point, we will see you guys face to face. You'll come back down to our office, and we'll have these workshops again. But his comment to us at the game after was, wow, that was a really great experience. The fact that you brought in vendors that understood my environment, you only brought in vendors that were a good fit, you had them be ready to showcase their technology in the best light, and most importantly, just move fast. We had 3 vendors come in across those 4 hours, and then we used an hour to recap to kind of get everyone's comments internally on what they saw that day. And then over dinner or the game, that's when we started talking about, all right, we gotta pick a provider here. And I can guarantee you that we all usually know. I mean, there might be one defector that says, hey, I really like, XYZ company, but, the consensus wins. And, he was just so appreciative of the process and the work involved versus having to do it on his own. So at this stage, we're not asking you to buy anything. Just schedule the call to talk through this program to see if it's the right fit for you. We only take 4 to 6 clients in this program every 6 months or sometimes per year, depending on the complexity. Most of these programs are either extremely cost effective or those fees can be waived. It just depends on your current situation. So we ask that you just schedule the 30-minute call. I'll answer any questions about this program. We'll see if it's the right fit for you. And we appreciate you listening, and good luck with your digital transformation journey. Take care. Thanks.